Welcome to West Coast Grandma. Today we're going to be back in my kitchen. I know if you haven't seen my channel before, I do kind of a mixture of little adventures, boating, I work at the marina, I have a big garden, and I like to do preserving of all my food that I get out of there. So today I am just going to make pear salsa. It's not something that I've seen on any other channels that I watch, and I was going through my canning book and I found a recipe for pear salsa. So I did try it, and yesterday we opened the jar for the first time, and it is delicious. And I have an abundance of pears right now in my yard. They're just falling off, and they're funny pears that you really have to pick before they ripen. If you wait until they look ripe on the outside, they're usually already brown on the inside. So they're kind of a funny pear. I'm not really sure exactly what what kind it is. But anyway, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to go through the steps to make this pear salsa. I'm going to change the recipe slightly. We didn't find it spicy enough, and I have lots of green peppers in my garden, but I don't have any red bell peppers, so I'm going to be using hot peppers instead for the red. So I'll get everything ready, and then we will go through the steps of making pear salsa. Okay, first of all, I am going to double the recipe. It calls for 2.2 pounds. I am going to do 4.5 pounds. So I had all my pears in the sink here washing them off. So I am just going to measure out 4.5 pounds, which shouldn't take very long as they're quite heavy. They're such a solid pear. So let's pop all these nice clean pears in here. Isn't that pretty? I love them with the leaves on. Oh, okay, so there is just under 5 pounds there. So I'm going to go for that and say that that's going to be close enough. So the rest of these I'll leave out, and we will probably eat. So next I'm going to get busy with my peppers. And again, I have my green bell peppers. This one is a Big Jim jalapeno, so I have a couple of those. They're not really spicy, so they're going to be perfect. And then I also have, let's see, Hungarian wax. This is another Hungarian wax that's ripened. But I've got a few interesting things. Some of these little tiny peppers. These ones are shishitos that have ripened. So I'm going to put that in. I like the red color, so that should be perfect. And I've got enough bell peppers. It did call for 3 green bell peppers and 3 red. So hopefully I will have enough here, but I think really it's going to taste good. If you don't have quite enough bell peppers, you can just use your judgment. It does have vinegar in it, so I think we're going to be pretty safe to can it, even changing the recipe a bit. I know they say you're not supposed to, but I'm not going to adjust the vinegar or anything like that. So I'm going to start chopping them up, and I will show you how I'm going to chop them. I'll just get this cleaned up. Okay, I'm going to start with the peppers. And like I said, I've told you most of the names. The only one that I didn't tell you about is this little one here. It's called a Pequeno Yellow. And they're not very hot. They've just got a little tiny spice. And I saw that they were all ripening on the bush, so I thought I would try those. But what I'm going to do is just coarsely chop these up, take out the seeds, and I have my food processor here. So I'm going to let you know how many cups I have of peppers when I get that all mixed up, so that you can make note of the recipe. Okay, so I will get busy cutting these up. Okay, I've just put all these peppers into my big measuring cup here, and there's 8 cups. And I was tasting the one that I thought was a sweet pepper, and it was very hot, so my mouth was on fire. But anyway, there's the consistency. I think that should be great. And I think really when it comes to the peppers and the pears, you can just judge how hot you think you might like it. Like I say, I tried it with, there was a couple of hot peppers in this last batch I made, and it just didn't have quite enough zip. So I have a feeling this one isn't going to be zippy. but I will put that in. The other thing, I will just show you about the pears, how I'm going to cut these pears up. So they're pretty nice pears. There's not a lot of marks. So I washed them all and I'm not going to peel them. I didn't peel them for the last batch I made, and you actually can't even tell. So I'm going to cut them into 4. This is the easiest way I thought to get them cut up. All right, there, just so you can see. And then I just cut down and sort of take that core out. And then we're just gonna put them in little strips here, like that. And then I'm just gonna chop them up. So I have just little chunks. I don't want them too big, but I don't think you have to have them all exactly the same. They don't cook down soft, but they do get, they kind of blend in with everything. So there's the consistency that I'm going to do my pears. Now the measurement says 8 cups of chopped up pears. That's going to take me a few minutes. So I'm going to go ahead and get working on these. Then I'll have everything ready and we will assemble it in the pot. It's actually quite quick. It just basically cooked for 5 minutes and then you put it in your jars and put it in the water bath. So we will come back when we're ready to add everything to the jar. I'm going to start chopping up pears. All right, we're all ready to go. I've got everything chopped up ready and we're just gonna put it all into my big pan. So remember, I've doubled the recipe. So I have 8 cups of chopped up pears. There we go. One more. So I actually found that I probably used closer to 6 pounds. It said 2.2 pounds. I think it was probably closer to 3 pounds for one recipe by the time I got it chopped up and into a measuring cup. So 8 cups. Then I have my chopped up peppers, which I'm going to put into here. And to that I have 2 cups of vinegar. 1 cup of white vinegar and 1 cup of apple cider vinegar. So I'll put that in. I rinsed out my food processor with it. So there we go. I put 1.5 cups of sugar. That's in the double recipe. So it would have been 3/4 of a cup for one, but I've got 1.5, and I've got my organic cane sugar. 4 tablespoons of pickling salt. That in. 2 teaspoons of dry mustard. 2 teaspoons of turmeric. 1 teaspoon of allspice. These are all doubled amounts. And 1 teaspoon of black pepper. So there you have it. We are going to get the light on and we are going to get this cooking. We want to bring it to a boil and then turn it down and simmer it for about 5 minutes. So after I've got that all done, meanwhile I'm going to get my jars out and get everything ready. And then we'll be ready to go straight into the jars, get the lids on and get them into the canner. Well, here we are back again. So the mixture has now been just simmering for 5 minutes. I have my jars all ready and my funnel, and we're just going to start filling jars here. I will do a couple here just to sort of show you how I do it. I know it's a pretty standard system though for canning things. It says 1/4 to 1/2 inch of headspace, and it has to be processed in the water bath for 10 minutes. So I have my water canner on here, and I will be popping those in, probably 2 batches by the looks of it here, because I did double this up. So that's going to be good. It seemed to thicken too after it sat for a bit, so that's perfect. So I'll do 3 here, and I've got my chopstick. So I'm just gonna mush it around a little bit there and get the air bubbles out. It always goes down a bit more then too when you do that. So there, and then we'll just add a tiny bit more. take it up to, I'll do a 1/2 inch of headspace. There we are. Good. Okay. The next thing after we get our jars filled, we're just going to get some vinegar on a cloth. And this is a really important step, to wipe the rims, especially when you're using something that's got sugar in, which this does. So I'm just going to wipe around the rims here to make sure I get the sugar residue off, because I want to get a good seal. And I've got my brand new lids ready. I'll just pop those on like so. Put a ring on it. Ooh, they're hot. Ooh. And it's just finger tight. So I just do one little there, and then that's good. And there we are. So there is how it's gonna look. Yeah, pretty nice, eh? So I'll continue on. I'm going to fill all my jars, get them into my canner. I'm gonna turn the canner on once I put the jars in. I don't want the water boiling. That's how you break your jars. This is very hot, but not as hot, but the water is still would be hotter if it was boiling. So I don't wanna put it into boiling water. So I'll get my canner filled, get these in, and then we'll get back to you when we're all done and show you the finished product. Well, there you have it. 18 jars of pear salsa. It's pretty good. It is a little more spicy, but we'll see how it is after it's sat for a bit. So tomorrow I'll remove all the rings, I'll write on the jars, and like usual, I'll probably leave it sitting for a day or two. I just kind of like to enjoy looking at my hard work and the preservation of the good things out of my garden. So hope you've enjoyed this video. Hope you'll try the pear salsa. I will leave the recipe down below in the description. So if you've enjoyed this video, I hope you'll hit the like button. West Coast Grandma is signing out.